demonstration on how to use Alfresco Share. First thing we're going to do is log in. And when you log in, the first thing you see is your dashboard. This is where you can catch up on current events, notifications, tasks, workload, and other important information regarding your work or organizational activities. This dashboard is yours, and you can customize it how you want by selecting the gear icon. Here I can change the layout of my dashboard. I'm going to select the 3 columns. And I can also add the dashlets that I would like to see. Here are some of the out-of-the-box dashlets, but these can be customized, and you can also add new dashlets. So I'll just go ahead and add a few of these to my new column. And you can also get rid of dashlets from this as well by dragging it over to the trash can. I'm going to select OK. And now I have my 3 columns and my new dashlet. The next module here is the My Files. This is where you can keep your own documents that are not accessible to others. And then we have the Share Files. These are the exact opposite, where all of these files are shared with the entire organization. We also have different sites. So if you have a group or a project or a department that would like their own area in order to keep their own content and collaborate together on that topic, you can use a site for that. We'll go over sites more in a minute. Next up is the Tasks feature. Here you have my tasks and workflows that I've started. We're also going to go more over this in a minute. Next up is People. Here you can search for other users in the system and find out more information about them. You can also follow them in order to see the type of activities that they're doing. Next up is Admin Tools. Since I'm logged in as an administrator, I have an actual module here that I can use to manage the system. Here I can manage categories and tags. I can create custom content models or data models that can be used in this application. I can manage users and groups and any security models that you may have. I can do that here and much, much more. I can also change the look and feel of the UI. Next up, we're going to go over to the profile. Here you can see your own information and you can edit it. You can upload a photo. We'll go ahead and edit profile here. There's lots of information out of the box, and then you can save your changes. You can also see the sites that you're a part of and that you have access to. You can see the content. This is recently added and recently modified content, so if you know you recently worked on something, you can find it fairly quickly here. You can see the users that you're following and manage them, and you can see who's following you. You can change your password from here if you want to use the application this way. Some users actually use other methods of doing so. You can also see your notifications. And another feature I want to show you is the trash can. Here you can actually recover content that you've deleted before, or you can also empty your trash can here. And you can set it up so that it empties on a certain rotation as well. Up next is the search feature. This search will search the whole system for content that I have permissions to see. As you can see, it's already suggesting certain things that I might be looking for, including a site called Patent Management. I'm going to go ahead and select Enter. And now we have my search results. Alfresco uses full text indexing, so it will search the words inside the documents for my criteria. I can sort the list by relevance. We've got name, title, description, offer, things like that. Or I can change my layout if I want to see things in a different view. Over here we have the search facets. This is a way that I can sort and filter down to the exact things that I am looking for. So if I wanted to sort it by creation or size, modified, etc., I can filter down to find something more specific. These are just the out-of-the-box options. However, you can customize them if you want to change them to things like projects or clients or categories or whatever makes sense to help you find certain groups of information that you're looking for on the search. There's also another feature where if I wanted to have an advanced search, I just have to click the little icon here and select Advanced Search. This allows me to get more in detail on the exact keywords or name or title of the document that I'm looking for. All right, so we'll go ahead and add in patent. and see what comes up. All right, so here's our document. You can see when it was modified and by whom, the size, the site that it's in currently, and the folder that it's in currently. You also have actions that you can do: download, view, copy, move, edit, delete, start a workflow, etc. And what is shown here can also be customized. So we'll go ahead and open up our document. Now what it's done is it's taken us to where this document is. It's within this folder on this site. So you can always tell what the breadcrumb is from up here. Gives you certain information about it. You can favorite it, like it, comment, share. You can zoom in, zoom out, view the pages, scroll down. You also have lots of actions that you can do on the right-hand side. Editing, moving, very similar to the ones that we discussed over in search. There's a little bit more here though. Change the type. You can also declare it as a record, which will send it over to the records management module, which I can show you at the end of this video. You can put security markings on it as well. You can see tags and other custom properties here, the out-of-the-box properties, any workflows that it would be a part of, and the version history is also shown here as well. So now that you've seen the document, what we can do is we can go over to the folder by clicking this breadcrumb right here, and now you can see what's inside this folder. So this is the site. We're going to go ahead and go to the site dashboard so that we can go into sites more specifically. The dashboard, very similar to what I was showing you earlier in this video, the dashboard is customizable. You can have certain columns and you can have certain dashlets that you would like to see here for the purposes of this site. So this is the patent management site, and the collaboration regarding patent management is going to be done here at this site, for example. And this site has document library, and it also has site members. So the document library is where all of the documents are kept, which we'll go over more in a minute. And then the site members are the people who are a part of this site. As you can see, we've got two people on this site. We have a collaborator and a manager. The collaborator is able to add content to the site and edit the site, but if they need to have less activities, we can bump them down to either contributor or consumer, or if we need to up them to a manager, you can change them straight from this area. You can also remove users from the site as well. Getting back to the document library, this is where all the content is held, where people will be collaborating on their content. You can add and upload and create new folders here in this structure. You can also search and filter out what you're looking for specifically with some of the options on the left-hand side. For instance, you can look at all of the documents or documents that you're editing. Maybe you want to look at your favorite documents, things that were synced, etc. You can also browse through the library here by selecting the different folders. You can also sort the library using custom categories or tags. Adding content is very easy. You can just use the upload feature and select the files that you would like to upload. Or you can just drag and drop. You can also create directly to this folder by adding plain text, HTML, or maybe a template. There are other features, including being able to select the documents and then what you can do with the documents after you've selected them. Another thing I wanted to show you was the behind the scenes for this folder. Folders have unique metadata as well. They have a type. You can also manage the rules or edit the properties for this particular folder. You can also download this whole folder as a zip or move it, delete it, etc. One key feature is to manage the rules. For instance, this particular folder can have a lot of rules set on it. So far it only has one, and that is to automatically add metadata. So here we have automatically adding a category and automatically adding an aspect, which is a chunk of metadata, so certain properties that were created. And it also has the ability to set a certain date value for each set of properties that you'd like to add for any content coming into this folder. So it's set out to be 3 months out from the date that it was ingested into this folder. Another key feature to the folder is to manage the permissions. Right now, it is being inherited, and you can see all of the permissions that are being set on this folder so you know who has access to this folder at any time. Next, I would like to take you to the tasks. Here you can see the task list that I have. These are the actions that I need to do. You can see the tasks that I have active or the ones that I have completed. You can also see when they're due, the next 7 days, or if they're overdue. You can also customize this if you have specific requirements. You can see the different priorities, high, medium, or low, and if they're assigned to me or unassigned. We'll go ahead and open up this task, and I can see the information that was given to me. I need to verify something that has been completed, and I can either say that it's in progress, on hold, canceled, etc. And I can complete my task. Now that I've completed my task, I can see them in the completed section and still look at them for reference. Next, I want to show you workflows that I've started. I sent out a workflow for a review, and this gives me the information of where my workflow is at and who has it. Most recent completed task information on this workflow, the details and general information, the different attachments, and the current tasks and where they're at and their status. This also gives me a full history, so everyone that has completed a task and every action that has been done on this workflow will show here on the workflow. I can also see a process diagram to show me exactly where the step is in the workflow. This is a very simple workflow, so it could get a little complex, so it can be nice to see exactly which step that you're in. This information here can be customized for you. This is just the out-of-the-box information, but if you wanted something that's more specific to a docket or a case, you can actually have different types of workflows for different types of things, and they can be customized. Now I want to show you how to get your own workflow started. These are some of the out-of-the-box options, but if you do the process module, you are able to create your own types of workflows. So we're just going to pick a review and approve for a whole group. I can add my message. I can give it a due date, a priority, add the group that needs to review it, required percentage, I'm going to say 100% from this particular group. I'm going to add my items. And I'm going to start the workflow. And that's all I have for the tasking. The last thing I wanted to show you was the records management site. When documents are declared as records, they come to the records management site. This is where you can apply all of your records management policies. There's a file plan that can set you up with every disposition schedule you need for your company. And you can also search for records, get reports on records, and destroy records or transfer records. You can also place records on hold. And that concludes my video. Please stay tuned for the next video.
This application is another option for you to manage your case files. What we'll do first is go ahead and log in. When the user logs in, they have a dashboard very specific to what they wanted to see. And it's also based on permissions. So if you looked on the left, these are all based on permissions, and the user can work on the dashboard, complaints, case files, so on and so forth. We'll spend some more time on this here in a little while. The next thing you can do is have a dashboard widget. You can see here we have a little NASA video link. If you click on that, it just quickly takes you to hyperlinks. This is real helpful to add other internal application links or external if you want. It's real simple. You can just add a new website. Also have a little metric that shows you the kind of case files and the status that they're in. Workflow tasks that are assigned to the specific user, so this user, in this case myself, knows what work has to still be done, and a list of case files. It's real simple to change the look and feel of this. You just click this Edit Dashboard. You can add new dashboard widgets, again, all based on security, so you can limit on what users can add which dashboard widgets. The other thing that you can do is you can click this and you can change the look and feel. You can see here we've got the two column, but if you wanted to go with the 3 column, you saw what it did on the background. It switched it to 1, 2, 3, and I can go ahead and move it and kind of organize it any way I want. I'm not going to save the changes because I kind of like the dashboard the other way, but we're going to go ahead and say do not save, and it's just going to take us right back to where we were. Up to this point, we've showed you a little bit of ways in which you can navigate through the system, but really the quickest way to get to where you want to work is from these hyperlinks. You can see anything that's in blue as a hyperlink to take you somewhere else. So in this example, I'm going to get right to my patent case. Notice it takes me right to the case, and then this module is actually lit up. There's also some other options here if you want to narrow down and you didn't want to see everything in this list, for instance. These are different sort of rules or statuses based on what's going on with this list. So open cases, cases I've created, so on and so forth. A lot of our customers might change this so you can kind of narrow it down to, if you wanted to even narrow it down to appeals or patents or something like that. There's also a sort if you wanted to sort just as well. One other quick way, if this tends to be a long list, which it could be if you have a lot of cases, is to quickly just type in the word patent, and then it takes you right and narrows down the list so you don't have to look at everything else. Up to this point, we showed you how you can navigate to the system, but we can expand this a little. In the ArkCase world, we think of a case as a collection of a lot of different information. You can see here we have all the different details with regards to the name, the status that it's in. This is just an automatic number. We've configured that many different ways based on customers. There's actually a case due date. This is based on a business rule. This is set to 6 months, skipping holidays, and we believe your requirements say it's 3 months. You could actually configure this that way. There's details about it. There's the person that this is about. In this case, it's Ann Anderson. There's documents associated with it. We'll get into some of this here in a little bit, uploading some additional documents. But in addition, we also have you could do references to case files and also history. You could do audit logs. And if you wanted to get to cost and time per case, you can do that as well. In the next part of the demonstration, we'll show you how quick and easy it is to upload documents right into a case. I'm going to select the Documents node. You can see we already have a couple of existing documents that are out there of different file formats. You can always create new folders if you have their permissions and so on and so forth. But what we'll do is we'll just right mouse click, say New Document. In this case, these are just categories of documents. I'm just going to pick Other, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick my patent notes. Notice now, as it's uploading in, there's different things that will appear on the screen. It recognized the file format type, and it can handle any file format type, by the way. And Other, that was the category that I called it, and then the created and modified date, of course they're the same, and the user, and then the version. Now you might ask the question, what if I want to edit this document? How do I do it? Well, you simply right mouse click. I'm going to choose the edit option, which allows me just to directly open up Word and start editing. The document will appear here in just 1 second. I'm going to hit Enable Editing. Just going to add a couple of notes. And then notice here we have this little sync. It looks a little bit different than your typical save icon up in the upper left. I'm going to just hit sync. Go ahead and shut this down. And now we'll show you back in ArkCase what happens. If I hit refresh, notice here there's my patent notes doc, and now we're at version 2. And if we go out here, let's double click and we embed a viewer within the tool. And what you'll see it here is there's my additional notes. That's the second version, see the 2.0 that I just worked on. But we do give you the option if you want to look at earlier versions, those can load right into the viewer as well. So when I click on version 1, you can see that was my original document that I did. There are additional document management features within ArkCase that you might find helpful. So we wanted to take the time to demonstrate those. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go find a different case that has additional type of file formats in it. I'm just going to clear this out, hit go, and it'll bring up all the cases. I'm going to pick this equal employment opportunity case and go to the document section just like we did before and just point out some of the things. Notice here there's different categories with regards to the information that's in there, but I wanted to talk about this audio file. If I double click this witness audio file, you'll notice right within the viewer we can play it. We also will put on the logo that we had configured earlier in the system so it can brand the type of information that's in there. This is a very simple 4-second recording, and if you can hear it, I'll go ahead and play it. This is evidence for the case. Now notice it had transcribed things at the bottom, and it puts it up here on the right. So we can take an audio file and transcribe and put the text, which makes it full text searchable for you later. An additional feature that the product provides is correspondence management. What does that mean? What it means is, do you need a way to quickly generate a document based on the case information without having to manually do it? And we provide that. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to say right mouse click New Correspondence. You can see we have some templates out there. I'm going to pick the witness interview request for this example. Notice it's generating it down at the bottom. And if I double click it, what you'll see is how we automatically populated this Word document with the information from the case in which I was working. We used the template and I had put the NASA logo in there. This was the current date in which we generated it. Notice the case number and the case title got put in there as well. This is a quick way so you can use templates, maintain your templates in one place, but allow your users to use the same thing so you have a consistent experience throughout the legal group. Finally, I wanted to address records management and how to declare documents as formal records. What I'm going to do next is go back to the case module and find all the closed cases. You can see this appeal case was closed. Notice here, if I open up all the documents list, these are marked as formal records. Since we're having a conversation or integrating with Alfresco in the back end, there was a business rule that says when this status is closed, mark all these for official records and apply the retention policy based on the business rules and the file plan. So that got done for you automatically. The other option that you have, again, we don't see too many users doing this, but you can if you want. If I go to Open Cases and we work on this patent and open this up, if you right mouse click, there's something here at the bottom, Declare as Record. I can go ahead and declare something manually as record if I really want to. Notice here now it's marked as record, but we suggest the overall way is when you officially close the case from a changed case status that you let the system do it to you automatically. In the next part of the demonstration, we wanted to address due dates. As mentioned earlier, you can have a due date that is set for the entire case. In this case, our business rule was about 6 months, including holidays. But we can also do due dates from tasks. These could be also considered assignments as well. So what you can see here is there's one task that's been sent out to Anne. She's got it completed and one that's open. If you want to create a new one, you just click this button, go find the user that you want to assign the task to. I'm going to pick myself in this case. You can pick a group, which means somebody can take over the work if need be. And here what you see is, notice it says it's going to be associated with this object, meaning the case. And you could say, Anne, need you ASAP. You could give a due date. This is just a little calendar control. We'll leave it as this. You could actually say expedite. And then you could be and call me at your convenience. It's urgent. And you can even put, if you wanted to make, this is a rich text editor, you can go ahead and say it's urgent, and I'm going to go ahead and save the task. What that does is Anne gets a notification, and it's also going to show up on her dashboard that she has work to do. So let's come back to Anne's dashboard, and you'll see it. Here you see Anne needs you ASAP. Remember we talked about the ease of use and navigation. If Anne opens this task, it takes her right to the area of the patent, and it gives all the information. She could go out and she could look at the details. That was the note. If there was a document attached to it, that would be in there as well. And she could go ahead and complete the task, unclaim it, meaning let her group take over if she's out or something, or delete the task. An additional feature we wanted to show was reporting or report management. If I click here as a user, again, we've had many customers that they don't want their users to run reports. Some, they want our users to run reports. This is based on permissions. So is the list of reports on what the users can generate. We're going to pick the case summary report. Just go back a month from now and say generate report. It goes out and it queries ArkCase and it'll generate the results of all the case files and the information associated with the cases. You can see between this date and this date, These were the cases that we'd been working on, the status that they're in, the date in which it was started, we call this the incident date, priority, due date, so on and so forth, and the category. That's important. If you wanted, you could save it in Excel, rich text format, or whatever you want to do additional data analysis if you need to. This is just a real quick way where users can generate something quickly, save to their desktop if they want to, and be able to generate reports that have been pre. In the next section, we wanted to show you search. You could search from here as a module, or you could search from up here. In this example, first I'm going to do a combination search of this word and turbojet. I'm going to hit return, and the results will come back. What you see here is a list of items that match those search terms. So you have the file, the case file, that was the case description, and then this is just a document we created as part of creation of the case. We also have facets here on the left, so if you want to narrow down into different things, saying, hey, I only want to look at the case file results, you can click here and it shortens the results. You can turn that back off. You could also say, I only want to look at the things that happened previous week, month, when it was last modified. So you have a lot of different options. This, of course, is hyperlinked, so it takes you right over to the document and or the object in which you found in the search results. So it takes you right where you need to be able to look at the details. And from here, if we go to the details, you'll see there's the word turbojet. So this found the word turbojet, and as well as there's a document in there that also found the word orbiter. In the final section of the demo, we wanted to point out some additional features of how this demo was configured. What I will do is I will click on the admin module. I'm going to go through a couple of the options. First, I want to talk to you about the logo. How did I get this logo in? This is where we had the header, which is up here, and then the login page. You saw that when I logged in. You can also change your cascading style sheets if you want to, meaning if you don't like black and you want gray or green or blue, you can do that as well. How do we do correspondence management? Remember when I generated that witness report? Here's the list of templates that we provide, and then you could create your own and you just activate or deactivate them. Next, label configuration. Everything in the system that's static, like people, tasks, so on and so forth, and the labels that you saw have different default values. You can change these at any time, and you can also do it in multiple languages. That's another nice feature, so you can have your platform be multilingual. One of the other things that I also configured was lookup tables. When I had pointed out quickly about creation of a case, and the case file types, I went ahead and added appeal, contract disputes, EEO, and patent. Finally, we wanted to address report configuration. If I click over here, reports configuration, I talked about setting up permissions on which reports were exposed based on which user role. That's one feature we wanted to point out. The other is the report designer. If I click on this, it's going to go ahead and prompt me to log into this Pentaho report designer. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say create new, pick interactive report, and this is already directly integrated with ArkCase. So we're going to say OK. And now what I can do is I can create different types of reports. So if I wanted to drag over the case ID, those are all the case IDs. If I wanted to say when was it last modified, I could put that in there as well. I can even put in status if I wanted over here, and you can move things around. So it does the direct integration with the data and shows you kind of the look and feel of the reports as you're building it. With that, I wanted to summarize. Thank you for your time with regards to watching the ArkCase demo today. And if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to our team.